Hi guys. The next chapter that we are going to start talking about is area. There are two packets that go with area. The first packet that we want to look at looks like this. And before we start talking about area, we want to talk about perimeter. So today's lesson is going to be super short, which is good. So take advantage of that and get it done. But we are just going to talk about perimeter. We're going to talk about a few problems on 2 pages, and then all you have to do is complete the 2 pages and submit them. So if we take a look, the first section that we're going to talk about is perimeter of a quadrilateral. Now remember that a quadrilateral is a shape that has 4 sides. And it says find the perimeter of each quadrilateral. When we want to find the perimeter means that we add all of the sides. And remember, we've talked about this before, but when we talk about perimeter is all of the outside pieces. It's like putting a fence around a yard. When we talk about area, the area is like the inside space in your yard, maybe how much grass you're growing. So if we take a look at number 1, they want to know the perimeter of this shape that looks like a square. So it gives us all 4 of our measurements. So to find the perimeter, we just have to do 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus 18. Add them all up. The perimeter is the outside. It's the outside of the shape, kind of like a fenced-in area. So if we add on our calculator, if we add 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus 18, we get 72. Now, it's important when we talk about perimeter and area that we always have units if they give them to us. So in number 1, they tell us that we're talking about 18 feet on each side. So our perimeter is going to be 72 feet. Remember, like when we talk about in class, I say that our units are very important. It's like going into Lowe's or Home Depot, and if you did want to buy some wood to make a fence, and you walked in and they said, how much do you need? And you said 72, they wouldn't know what you're talking about. 72 feet, 72 yards, 72 meters. So units are very important when we talk about perimeter and area. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Looks like we have a rectangle. So it's not the same on each side, but we still have to add up all 4 sides. 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. So if we do that on our calculator, 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 gives us 16. So the perimeter would be 16 inches. So that's what you have to do for the whole entire rest of the page, is add up the 4 numbers that they give you and make sure that you add the proper units. So let's take a look at the second page. Okay, so the second page is still perimeter of a quadrilateral. However, they don't give us all of the sides in the problems. But what they do give us are tick marks. And we know in geometry that the tick marks means that the sides are congruent. So let's write down that the tick marks means that the sides are congruent. And we know that the word congruent means equal. So for number 1, they only tell us that this side is 11, but they all have the same tick mark, so that makes this side 11 inches, this side 11 inches, and this side 11 inches. Now we do what we did on the front, and we find the perimeter. 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11. So take our calculator. 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11 gives us 44. 44 inches is our perimeter. Now let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is a little bit different than number 1. I see a 15 yards and I see 2 tick marks. I see a 13 yards and I see 1 tick mark. So 15 yards goes with the 2 tick marks. So take a look at our picture. Do we see anywhere else that has the 2 tick marks? Right up here. So this is 15, this is 15. We match up the tick marks. All right, so this had 2, this has 2. Let's take a look at the 13 yards. 13 yards only has 1 tick mark. I see 1 tick mark down here, so that's 13 yards. So this 13 with 1 tick mark goes with this 13 with 1 tick mark. So now we add up all 4 numbers. 15 plus 13 plus 15 plus 13. Remember, when you add, it doesn't matter the order that you're adding. So if you wrote 15 plus 15 plus 13 plus 13, you're still going to get the same answer. So 15 plus 13 plus 15 plus 13 equals 56. So we get 56, 56 yards for our perimeter. And that's what we do with the rest of the page. Match up the tick marks. So we'll set up number 3 and then you can solve it on your own. Number 3, 10 feet have 2 tick marks. Look for the other set of 2 tick marks right over here. 10 feet. On the left, 7 feet has 1 tick mark. Over here gets 1 tick mark. So when we add them up, we add up all 4 numbers. 7 plus 10 plus 7 plus 10. I guess while we're at it, let's finish that and solve it. 7 plus 10 plus 7 plus 10 gives us 34 feet.